morning, fifth graders. Welcome to language this morning. Today we're going to be talking about verbs. We'll be on pages 4 through 6. If you have any questions, remember, refer to today's date for this recording. So, the words in our language have 8 different names. We have 8 parts of speech. They are verbs, nouns, pronouns, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections. So these are called the 8 parts of speech. So we know what name to give a word by first figuring out what is it doing, what is its part. So to figure out what is its job, whether it's naming something or whether it's describing something, whether it's showing an action, joining words together, we'll be able to determine what those words are and how they function in a sentence. So when we understand how our language works, we can use it correctly and we can put it in a proper grammatical order or use good grammar, okay? All right, so if we look at page 4, where we are right now, you see the 8 parts of speech there in the little blue box. In the blue section, it says the underlined words in the poems are called verbs. 2 verbs were not underlined in that poem, so I want you to identify those 2 verbs. So read the selection there of the poem entitled Dog. Find the 2 missing verbs. See if you can do that. Right after, under Think, it asks a few questions. Answer those questions according to what you read in the poem. So let's talk about action verbs today. This is the first kind of verb that we will look at. So remember that a verb is a word that shows an action, a state of being. It could help another verb, or it could link words together to the subject. So let's see if you can find the action verb in the following sentence. We have the great fish swallowed Jonah. All right, so remember, in my sentence, first word is capitalized. It ends with a punctuation mark, in this case, a period. So in this sentence, the great fish swallowed Jonah. What is the verb? What is the action? What is happening? Okay? When we identify a verb in a sentence, we put 2 underlines underneath it to show that it is the verb. Okay? So now, who or what swallowed Jonah? We know that it was a fish. That would be our subject. We're going to focus on verbs today. So remember that this is our subject part of the sentence. This is our predicate part of the sentence. Okay? An entire subject consists of everything on the subject side. The simple subject would be the one noun that identifies who or what the sentence is about. The entire predicate part of the sentence is the verb and everything that follows. Okay? So, the next example we have is the temperature dropped to 40 degrees. So what word in the predicate shows something that can be done, right? So I want you to underline that verb. What word is showing what is happening in that sentence? Okay, dropped, right? Now, who or what dropped? It shows you that temperature dropped, so that is your subject. And finally, we have Lindsay collects postage stamps. Find the verb in that sentence. What is happening? What is the action verb in that sentence? Collects. Now, who or what collects? Lindsay is underlined as the subject, so therefore Lindsay is the subject. So we always, again, underline verbs 2 times. We underline subjects only 1 time. So in order to figure out, is it a verb? There's a little trick that you can use. And so it's listed right here in the book for you. It's to try this test. Put I, you, or it in the front of the word that you think is the verb. So do the words make sensible sense? Does it make a good sense? So let's say the word sing. Can I say I sing, you sing, we sing? So when you can say that I sing, if you could put I in the front of it and it makes sense, it's a person doing something, then we could say that, yes, this is a sentence. Let's try the word elephant. Can I say I elephant? Can I say you elephant? Doesn't really make sense, right? So it's not an action. It's not an action. So this would not be a verb. Okay, so if a word has an ing or an en suffix to it, you drop the suffix before you can try the test, right? So if I have the word eaten, like I have eaten, right? Can I say I eaten? No, it doesn't make sense. But here we have a suffix. It's a part of a word. This is our root word, eat. And en is a suffix. It's a part that was added to the root word. We have to take the en off and say, I eat. Does that make sense? Yes, because I can eat, right? Okay, so this would be a sentence. And this will be a verb, I'm sorry. So that would be your verb. All right, so for Think A, you're going to practice underlining your verbs twice in the sentence. If you notice, your subject and predicate parts are already done for you. It's separated for you, which makes finding the verb a little bit easier. It's kind of like a little cheat sheet for you to get used to identifying those verbs. So, Think B, we take away the little helper. We take away the subject predicate line, and you have to put the subject predicate line, okay? Find your verb. Remember, we're only working on the verbs today. So I'm not going to ask you to underline your subjects. It's not necessary. But if you want to do it because you like getting in good practice, that is fine. Remember, subjects 1 time, verbs twice. And Think C, you don't have to put the subject and predicate line. You only underline your verbs twice, okay? So get that done. I will send you copies of the answers so that you can check your own work. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, guys. All right, thank you.